Hi, I'm April with the DSA, and today we're here to learn how to stop the bleed and Narcan administration, both injection and nasal. A little about myself: I have 20 years of nursing experience. Started as a CNA, went to EMT, paramedic, finally a nurse. We're going to start off with Narcan administration, both injection and nasal, and lay on the floor and play dead. Narcan blocks opiates from reaching receptors in your brain. It reverses the effects of the opiates, and it stops and reverses respiratory depression, which would eventually lead to cardiac arrest if not stopped. Examples of opiates are heroin, fentanyl, carfentanil, hydrocodone, which is like your Vicodin, morphine, methadone, any of those, Oxycontin, oxycodone, anything like that. It does not help with cocaine or anything. It either comes in injectables or nasal. You'll most finally find the nasal. Injectables only, usually medical professionals only have the injectable. And very simple to use. First, you're gonna see if they respond to pain stimulus. Knuckles in the chest, it's gonna hurt. If you don't get a response, check your breathing. If they're not breathing, you could still give the Narcan regardless. Just because they're not breathing doesn't mean you're gonna call 911 at this time. Whether you think they have are overdosing or not, you should still administer the Narcan. You ready? You're going to shoot up the nose. It's just a quick punch. That's it. And Narcan, it usually takes about a minute or two to work. Injection works quicker, lasts longer, but this is more readily available. If the first dose doesn't work, after 2 to 3 minutes, you could do a second dose, but in the opposite nostril. I've seen up to 4 doses given at a time. I used to work in drug rehab, so. And in that meantime, eventually, paramedics should show up, and they do the rest. But every 2 to 3 minutes, you should get a response within 2 minutes. They will wake up very aggressive, combative, swinging, kicking. You ruin their high. Whether you save their life or not, they're still mad at you. You ruin their high.
Yes. How many sprays are in one of those? Is it one spray per?
It's one dose.
So you would need like several.
Yeah, this usually comes with 2 doses. Now I'm not going to stab them with the needle. You can give Narcan intramuscularly, You could give it IV. You can give it subcutaneously, which is just under the skin. Vial. You use what's all in there. That's 1 dose. You're going to draw up air into your syringe, the same amount that's in the vial. It causes a vacuum. Makes it easier for the fluid to come out. Just draw it up. Now this would be for subcutaneous, just under the skin, because I don't have a muscle injection needle. We'll just pretend it's full. And I'm not going to really stab you. Anywhere on the body that's muscular, arms, thighs, butt, just pinch, inject. This works quicker, about a minute. This should react.
So I'm assuming intravenous is most effective, but what's more effective, intramuscular or subcutaneous?
Actually, intramuscular, because there's more blood flow to the muscle. So it's going to circulate faster. And obviously IV, you're going directly into the blood system. As far as fentanyl, 2 milligrams is enough to kill a person. That's equal to about 5 to 7 salt-sized grains of fentanyl. And minutes, you're overdosed. You could overdose by smoking. injecting, eating, and touching. Like when cops are going through people's belongings, just by simply just brushing up against it, they can overdose. And it's some nasty stuff. That's about it with the Narcan. Unless you've given 2 or 3 doses and they're still not breathing or coming to, you're going to want to start CPR, but that's a whole different class.
How was it?
You guys can say what's the taste? It's just kind of numbing a little bit. Or like a stale taste.
We're going to learn how to take care of superficial wounds, puncture wounds, and penetrating wounds such as gunshots and stab wounds. We'll be using gauze, and we'll also be learning how to stop the bleed using tourniquets. So, you're going to play with me. Try to get this closer. Life-threatening bleeding and death can occur within 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the wound, depth, area. Usually it takes between 5 and 7 minutes for the average first responder to show up. So you guys got to be the first responder if you come across an incident. There are Good Samaritan laws to protect you. For, say the patient dies, you're protected by a Good Samaritan law because you were there to help. Stopping the bleeds, basically like the CPR of bleeding. It's another life-saving technique. First thing, you need to call 911. If you can't call 911, have someone else call 911. You need to recognize if there's a mass amount of bleeding. Anything more than 6 ounces, half a soda can, is considered critical bleeding. And it looks a lot when it's spread out. Different types of wounds. They're superficial. You need stitches. There's puncture, a poke, being bit by a dog, pricked by a needle. There's penetrating, your gun wounds, your stab wounds. Penetrating is when it enters into the body cavity, like where your organs are. Puncture is mostly superficial. And of course, your gunshot is a penetrating wound. So first we're going to start with pressure. Minor cuts, superficial cuts. They still bleed a lot. So say you have a wound here that needs stitches. It's not that deep, but it's bleeding actively. You're going to take a whole roll. You don't unroll it. Place it on the wound. Directly from above, it's easier to make sure you position your patient with the wound facing up. You keep your arms locked like you were giving CPR. Keep your elbows locked and apply pressure. As hard as you can, it's going to hurt like hell. Now, if you still see bleeding through the gauze, do not remove the gauze that you already put on there. You'll dislodge a blood clot and just start the whole bleeding all over again. You're going to take another roll of gauze and keep applying directly on top pressure. Now, with a penetrating wound like a gunshot, you're going to have to pack the wound. Now, there's there's several kinds of gauzes. Just regular, ordinary gauze. The word gauze may have originated from Arabic, from Gaza, for Gaza, where they had made thin rolls of white fabric. Back to the gun wound. You're going to take your gauze, unravel it, pack it into the wound. They're not going to like it. As far as you can, as much as you can. And as I was saying, there's several different kinds of gauze. There's a hemostatic gauze that has a special mineral in it that helps the blood, helps the blood clot quicker. But if you don't have it, you don't have to use it. And once you have that stuffed, you're going to, again, apply pressure with the whole roll of gauze on top from above. Now, if your wound's on your side, it's super hard to hold pressure from the side. You basically need to put all your weight down from up top to help control that bleeding. Now, with a stab wound, sorry for reusing the gauze, don't ever remove anything. I don't care. It's going to be an instinct. You want to pull that out. Don't remove it. That could be blocking the artery that you nicked or anything. But what you want to do is you're going to want to stabilize this so it has little movement as possible with gauze, anything you have on hand. Now, as far as the gauze, you don't always have to use gauze. You can use a t-shirt, a towel, anything. And it doesn't have to be clean. We're not worried about infection control. We're worried about stopping the bleeding. They get antibiotics at the hospital. Don't scream like you did yesterday. Now, say the wound's down here. You're going to put your tourniquet 2 to 3 inches above the wound. You can use, and you're going to pull the strap as tight as you can and wrap it around. There's this little handle here. You're going to twist it. Sorry. No. As much as you can until you see the blood flow stop. There's a little thing here that holds this stick. Tourniquets can stay on for up to 2 hours before can cause permanent damage from lack of blood flow to the rest of the limb. After 2 hours, you could have neurological damage to nerves. It causes paralysis to nerves, and it can be permanent. So hopefully by then they're in the hospital. Here, I'll release this. Now, if the first tourniquet isn't working, you could apply a second tourniquet above this one. And I'm twisting you up again. Sorry. Say his wound's down here, tourniquet up here. You still apply pressure to the wound even though he has a tourniquet on. Like I said, you could add a second tourniquet. The first one isn't totally stopping it. Now, you can use different things for a tourniquet: belts, ropes, t-shirts, towels, bandanas. Is this going to be long enough? I was going to do your leg. I could do your arm. If you don't have a tourniquet with you, you can make a tourniquet. You're going to tie. Find a stick, something sturdy that's not going to break. And same thing as before. Twist. Hold pressure on the wound until someone comes. With this class, I hope you learned how to stop the bleed, save a life with Stop the Bleed and the Narcan administration.